Finish off! Finish off! Finish off! Finish off! Finish off!
But now, if our women, our wives go to farm, they rape them, at times they even set them ablaze. Me in particular, I paid ransom 3 times to Fulani herdsmen.
22 young men were just executed summarily in Edo State by some young aggrieved men who called them kidnappers. This is because few days ago, some villages were attacked in Edo State by purported Fulani herdsmen where innocent men, women and children were slaughtered in their sleep. Ever since then, the environment has been so tense. Now, coming to see these young Hausa men traveling all the way from Port Harcourt, Rivers State, going to the north. The only sin these young men and the driver have committed was to have passed through Edo State, which happens to be a scene of crime some nights ago. The villagers quickly descended on these young men. They brought 22 of them down and they set them ablaze while everybody watched, as though they've caught the criminal that has been destroying the community for so long. This is jungle justice meted on people whom we could term to be innocent, because there was no reason for them to have been summarily executed like that. The only evidence these people have is because they saw dane with them, which these young men claim to have been registered as they were hunters coming from Port Harcourt and going back to their place of abode because of the Salah celebration. Now, who are we going to blame for this jungle justice that has been meted on these young Huasa Fulani men? If we look at it on the side of the attackers, you would say they are justified because their kinsmen had just been murdered by so-called Fulani herdsmen. They cried to the government with nothing done. As usual, the government will say, "We are on it." And this thing has been happening times upon time. The other time, it happened in Enugu State, and still nothing was done. Now people are resorting to self-help. If you go to the middle belt, like Benue State, like some states in the north, Taraba, where Fulani herdsmen has taken over people's farmland and people's source of livelihood. The country is complaining of high cost of food. Some people blame it on dollar. But the truth is, it is as a result of insecurity that is coming from the north, of which we all know that the north is the food basket of the entire Nigeria. Although some other regions produce food, but the bulk percentage of food that we consume in Nigeria in commercial quantity comes from the north. And when these farmers cannot go into their farms, what do you expect? There will be scarcity of food and hunger in the land. This so-called Morudas Fulani herdsmen has become a pain in the neck of everybody. The government keeps paying lip service. In fact, they are doing nothing to address this issue. This is because of the fact that every politician wants to be politically correct. No one wants to talk about the evil that the so-called Fulani herdsmen are causing in the country. If the country was ever going to divide, the truth is that it will divide as a result of the injustice being meted against people, and especially coming from the Fulani herdsmen. The politicians will not talk because in politics, there is no Christian, there is no Muslim, there is no Igbo or Yoruba. What they have is permanent interest. If you think the politician from your side is going to support you because of one injustice, it is never going to happen. They will settle it at the top echelon where they will share money. It is the you and I that will be arguing. The truth is that a young Hausa man and a young Igbo man are not enemies. It is the politicians that create all this room for division. If the government has been able to address this Fulani herdsmen problem, I tell you, there wouldn't be any need for anybody being unjustly murdered the way they just did in Edo State. In the north, some years back, Deborah was murdered due to what the Islamic fundamentalists call blasphemy. Up to today, there is no justice for Deborah. Now the North is calling serious justice for these 22 young men. What the North is calling for is a very good thing. I also seek justice for these 22 young men because they don't deserve what has happened to them. I also seek justice for all the farmers that has been murdered by these Morudin Fulani herdsmen. I also seek justice for Deborah, and I seek justice for all the young men and women that were murdered by Fulani herdsmen. If the government can answer to not just one question, but to every injustice in the country will be living in peace. I wondered why a Fulani or Hausa man will leave Hausa land to go to Port Harcourt to go and hunt, carrying gun for so many kilometers just because he wants to go and hunt. I did a research on that. I saw that there's so much desertification in the north. That is the reason why you see the northerners coming down South Forest to come and hunt. Ordinarily, it is not a bad thing because we are all one Nigeria. But because of this adage that the witch that has cried at night has given us reason to believe that the witch is responsible for the death of the child in the morning. Some people try to compare Igbo people going to the north, that if the Igbo people can go to the north to do business, then the northerners can also go to the south to do their hunting. But one thing they forget is an Igbo man is not traveling to the north with dane gun or AK-47 to go and do his business. Likewise is Edo man not going to the north with AK-47 to go and do his business. They are going to rent a shop and they do their business in the city. Why these northerners come to the south to do their business not in the city but in the thick forest? And especially because of the fact that there is so much kidnapping happening. And where is it happening? It happens in the forest. So the government has not been able to solve this question. So how do you expect the people not to panic when they see you, not just in the forest, but seeing you with weapons? Your intentions might be genuine, but a lot of your brothers who are into kidnappings have sold you out. The government, this is the right time for you to come and solve this question of kidnapping that is going on. Recently, Rivers State government has been put on hold through state of emergency just because the politicians are fighting. But every day, a lot of Nigerians are being unalive by kidnappers, especially in the northern part of Nigeria. In short, this thing is no longer trending in the news. It has become what we are living by day. Nobody talks about it anymore. If you talk about yourself being kidnapped, it will just be at the mercy of you and your family.
But now, if our women, our wives go to farm, they rape them, at times they even set them ablaze. Me in particular, I paid ransom 3 times to Fulani men. They kidnapped my elder sister. They've also kidnapped 2 people from this palace. Even last month, I paid ransom also. To even sleep in this place is by the grace of Almighty. To even access this road, you need to get security. So that's the major problem. Me as John Ojo of Hosea, I no longer want Fulani in my forest. Let me also use this medium. Since the chiefs are here, they should go back home and ask questions. Anybody who have a hand in Fulani, stay in any part of Hosea forest. If I discover, I will drop that chief immediately. Because my people cannot be suffering. And some people will be somewhere enjoying, taking money from these people for us to be paying ransom. They will kidnap us, keep us in our own land, we'll pay ransom. We are tired. I don't have a hand in Fulani, and anybody in Hosea who have a hand in Fulani should, with immediate effect, tell them to leave. If you know them, tell them to leave Hosea. State government. Us in Hosea here, we need security. We need security. So that one day, we will not wake up and find out it's only 2 people that is remaining in this whole kingdom. Because the only police station we have here, they don't have manpower. Without the local hunters here, they cannot even effect any arrest. And most of the schools, like I said before, they are not in good shape. Even the one here, the one in front of my palace, that one is very bad. Even the new one, they don't have any furniture inside. They are not using it. So we are pleading. We are pleading they should come to our rescue. We'll be very glad if they
The
can. The
Hausa man has been threatening on social media that they are going to do this, they are going to do that to any Edo man they see in the north if the government did not bring these people to justice. Well, whatever you say, I bet you this thing is going to pass after some days, because whether you like it or not, the government does not have any solution and they are not ready to do anything. This is the usual pattern. And until the government comes to answer the question of every injustice that is being perpetrated in the entire country, when everybody will learn to trust everybody, that is the only time when Nigeria will be free from ethnic and religious bigotry. Naija Adehelu.